Just off the front edge here, 13th hole.
Yeah, about a 40-footer or so up the hill, working left to right. Just trying to get it settled. Not bad.
Snedeker wasn't happy with that wedge shot by any means, Dennis.
No, but a long putt will always make you a little happier. And, you know, he's 90 degrees to Will's putt, so he really didn't learn anything. It's slow at the end.
That's two that he has left dead in the jaws. The 11th and now the 13th.
Well, he is liable to make them from anywhere, so get him on the green.
Where Zalatoris was coming, it's on a little bubble. So he sees kind of like a rainbow on the backside of it. You got to really trust what you see.
Really good there. That's more like the Mark Leishman we know.
Matsuyama.
Back right hole location here for Matsuyama at 14.
It looked like he had flared it out of bounds, right of the trees.
And it's maybe 30 feet to the right, 20 feet to the right.
Just a little yard work left here for Zalatoris. Nice stroke. Good rhythm to that one.
Yeah.
You get some live video of that?
It would be entertaining.
Good spot for Cooch. Not the best angle, but on the upslope.
Looks like he's taking dead aim again. Hitting some nice iron shots this morning is Matt. I'll see if his neighbor from Sea Island, Georgia can dial one in here. It's a beautiful tee shot. Needs some good things to happen, does Hudson Swafford, and okay, beauty there.
Now Leishman, long iron.
I just think this has to do with how his driver is right now. Today, this driver's not a bad play, I don't think. If you hit in the bunker, it's not a horrible spot to be in. And, you know, it's not good to play a tight golf course with a driver that you don't like. All of a sudden, you play very defensive, and then this golf course can get much more difficult that way, even if you are in the fairway, because you're giving up 30 or 40 yards on your second shots on a lot of these holes.
Well, and to Zalatoris, I remember one time yesterday he gave up about 100 yards.
It's only a sand wedge close up. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. That looked like a good swing.
Down the right side. Yeah. Quick pick up the tee, turned it over nicely.
It's 276 to get to that back part of that right-hand bunker. 291 to carry it. 297, beg your pardon. Will's going to take the heavy metal, Dennis.
Here, he's going to hit driver here. He's such a good driver of the golf ball, and he's aggressive. But it would be a lot tougher to carry that bunker today. This should be a little bit more left. That started down the middle. He doesn't like it, so it's leading a bit to the right.
Yeah,
don't think he's going to get that cover. I don't think he got it solid enough.
No, it did catch the bunker. Just got a little ahead of it with his upper body there.
After an approach shot that he was disgusted by.
Yeah, flag high, 30 feet. His standards are a little different to ours at the moment. The reigning Masters champion, and I can understand why. All right, time for another birdie for Cooch. Pretty straightforward uphill putt. Maybe working a little bit to his left. Just kind of ran out of gas. I think he might like to have that one over, Ned.
Well, that's what we saw a couple of yesterday. And again, we were saying just to pay attention to how many just creep to the hole and run out of speed and break away from the cup.
Well, and you wonder if that's a factor of, you know, that new style As we said, 0 degrees of loft on that putter. You know, the hands are slightly behind the putter head, so it's more of a push stroke. And yeah, just so many different ways to putt. Such a personal preference as to what feels good to each of these individual players. Hudson with the left hand low, hands pretty tight together, working as a unit. Oh, that's rude. Oh, that's epitomizes the week, really, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yeah.
Snapshot of what he's gone through. You can tell he's just completely over it in the sense of, come on, give me a little something here.
What's that saying? Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
That's right. Little stroke tester for Matsuyama.
As deep as it is into the green, I got a 29 on and 9 off that right side of a green that's 33 deep, so it showed up against the back edge. That's on a very nice line. Get a skip. All right.
Oh, tucked it in tight, Dennis, within a couple of feet. There you go. That was a better swing. 2 good swings in a row. Maybe that'll settle him down and give him a little more confidence as the round goes on.
Now, Brant, I mean, Unleash doesn't give much up with that 3-wood. I mean, I couldn't believe how far that 3-wood went on the last hole off the tee. Brant, it's got this headed a little out to the right. Didn't sound real solid either, and that barely gets over the top of the bunker. I'm not sure if that even found putting surface over there.
Yeah,
Just barely.
Yeah, got a little bit of a kick and scuttled on, probably 30 feet away.
So with Will on the upslope, the lip of the bunker is a non-issue. He's not that far from the hole, and he can get the ball elevated, but he had a ball out of the bunker that he didn't hit super solidly on the last hole. This one's a little more solid.
Each year they would invite a superstar from America. They'd have Fuzzy Zeller or Ben Crenshaw. Well, this one year they had Arnold Palmer. Okay, so I'll wait for Hideki to hit and I'll continue my story. On a good line. Oh, it's a one-handed finish again, so it's probably 30 feet away.
Yeah. Okay, we're at Arnold Palmer.
Okay, so Arnold Palmer, and I'm warming up, and I've got, I think, a 4-iron in my hand, and Arnold Palmer comes over and leans on my caddy, the shoulder, Marg Appleton, who I was staying with, and watches me hit 4 irons. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the king is watching me. Why could I not have a wedge in my hand?
Let's go to the putting green.
And he said to me, looking good, little lady, looking good, and just walked on. And my caddy said, I am never going to wash this shirt again. So how about that?
I love it.
A 4-iron, I'm like, oh. And you know, the 4-irons were not like the 4-irons look now. They were kind of butter knives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mr. Palmer, can you come back?
Yes, when I have a wedge in my hand. Great experience. It was a lot of fun. I think we just lost Dennis's mic there for a moment. We'll get him back shortly. We'll give it a go. It was a pretty slow putt up that hill. Kind of going up into that, just that slight upslope. The high point is the other side of the hole from where WillZalatoris was putting from.
You know, your Arnold Palmer story with the 4-iron reminded me of a story about Tom Watson, who was Brant Snedeker's idol, coincidentally. But Watson would loosen up, he'd hit a couple of 8-irons, and then he'd go straight to his 4-iron. And he said, if I can hit my 4-iron, I can hit anything. So he would get to his 4-iron and then work his way back down, which I thought was curious, but it worked for Watson. Snedeker This for birdie.
Fingers crossed you got me now. This is a good looking putt, but I don't think he hit it.
Yeah, there's that break around that hole, Dennis, quite a bit more than the players are seeing. But yes, we have you now, Dennis.
Keep track of how many balls are missed on the side away from the mountain. That was one. Will's was another. You know, I mean, just to the north. All the putts that are missed to the south, and it's amazing. Very rarely do you miss on the mountain side, I call it, or you know, it's like the Pacific Ocean. How many putts are missed on the ocean side at Torrey Pines and at Pebble Beach? And Will just didn't hit his hard enough more than anything else. And I'm surprised too, because it's really flat around the hole. The one that he had earlier on the last hole was one that you really had to pay attention to, because it could really get away from you. But that was surprising. I don't know if that was a little bit of what happened on the last hole, where it did get away from him a little bit, and he was a little more cognizant of that. But how about this shot that Leash hit? That was a thing of beauty back there.
Wasn't it? Hope he can put that one in the memory bank and draw on it for the rest of the round. Nice birdie.
That must have been a dirty little lie for Kuchar down there.
That's a swear word for
Yep.
for Matt.
You know he's upset when he says
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly.
Or golly. Reminds me of Andy Griffith's show.
He hit a beautiful bunker shot yesterday on par3s. He can do it again.
Oh, this one's very difficult. Landing it on the downslope. That needs to settle. That was just a very poor miss off the tee. You cannot afford to be in that bunker. Not much green at all to work with there, Ned.
One of those hole locations that you talked about.
Yeah, when I was looking at them this morning, you know, this one's kind of tucked up against a little bit of a backstop, and I thought we could see some hole-in-ones both at number 11 and number 15. Maybe a hole-in-one, perhaps not some. Some would be highly optimistic.
There have been 14 aces in the history of this event, so it's pretty rare. These are tough. This is a tough set of par3s.
It is. I think it's a terrific set of par 3s. You know, if you can play them even par, I think you've done well. Under par, you know, you really need to make your round on the par 5s. There are some couple short par 4s. Well, really, a lot of these par 4s are not super long. Most of these players, if you can hit it, you know, in a decent position, can attack with shortish irons. Well, the greens still have that little bit of moisture in them. They're just not rolling out that extra 6 inches that players expect. The guys that played yesterday afternoon, I think, coming up just a tad short periodically. So, you know, with Hudson not playing well, you know, you don't have a lot of exciting energy in this group, I would say.
Not yet.
That was never really on the correct line from my perspective.
And when we panned out just a few seconds ago rather, with Matsuyama over his putt, you could see the group behind with Snedeker, Zalatoris, and Leishman, who all play quickly. They're waiting. They're in the batter's box on deck, hands on their hips, saying, "Gentlemen,
Let's get moving."
To be fair, this hole has gotten the better of Matsuyama and Kuchar, perhaps.
Let's see if Cooch learned anything from Hideki's line. Oh, it's a crazy edge. So he'll drop a stroke and go back to 4 under par with that bogey. Must have been a little bit of a fluffy lie on the upslope there. After really he'd been hitting some very nice iron shots.
Tough hole, though. It's the most difficult on the course yesterday. And it claims 2 victims here with Matsuyama and Kuchar.
I still think Matsuyama looks really good with that style of putter. Hudson Swafford using that particular model as well. And
Yeah, this par 3 today with it 8 on and 4 off the left. That water, I believe, is a little more in play because the left is X. It's really going to be tough to get the ball up and down. If you hit it in the bunker, long and left of the hole, that's trouble. And even the left rough is not going to be that easy. So your target's a little right of the hole and you're aiming for the front edge. And that's where, if you push it a little bit, it could come into play. That right there was a very nice golf swing.
just bounded over the back, Dennis. It's like, good gracious.
Sneds likes to shape it right to left. So it's a good look for him. This is stuck out to the right, may have to carry a little.
Oh, just carries. That's a long way from the flagstick.
That's on the dance floor, but he may not be able to hear the band from there, not end up in a good spot. And then a safe play is too safe. That's the problem. Oh, someone's phone is going off up on the tee box. I just reached into my pocket because I heard it. My phone is completely off today, so it wasn't me. My driver also checked to make sure it was not her phone, but he's now set to go. This is very nice. Just a little right of the hole. Needs to stay left to be on the proper ridge. That looks good. Come on back down. Get a little love.
There it comes, maybe.
Yeah, he's going to chip this one, and I was looking at if he's going to putt it. I think he just wants to take a little bit of the push off the bunker out of it a little bit, but he still has to land it in the fringe, and that's what he's done. Let's see if he got the speed right, because this can be really quick going down the hill.
Well, that...
It's just so hard to get it close. Yeah.
I mean, he needed to land that. If he's going to chip it, he probably needed to carry it a little bit more to the right and perhaps maybe 2 or 3 more yards, by the look from our angle anyway.
Yeah, it was in a bad spot. And that's the thing. We were talking when we came up here, and I asked him, I go, Lisa, did you hit that right out of the middle? And he goes, yeah. And I go, it sure didn't react like it. He goes, no kidding. I mean, that was a really good shot that took a massive hop.
Well, it looks like where the hole is, Jay, is it's almost on a little bit of a downslope as you would look at it from the tee box. And it doesn't appear that way until you look from behind where we can see it. And it's just at the base of that little downslope.
It sure is. Let's see if Brent can... handle this cross the green putt, Dennis.
Yeah, it's a slow one. He's got to give it a hit. He's done a pretty good job. Ooh.
Oh, I thought he'd made it.
Wow, that was on a good line, yeah.
Well, that's where his little pop stroke really helps.
Get it closer. Huh. And I'm sorry, I have no idea how you're going to get it closer today. I mean, you land short of the green, it's right into an upslope. You hit it on the green, maybe the first yard it's pretty flat, but then you're right, there's a little downslope to the hole. And I'm watching Will right now set up his, I am literally 9 feet right of the hole, and it looked like he lined up his line right at that to play this right to left putt. I mean, this is going to be a huge swinger. I mean, he's probably giving himself 10 or 12 feet of break here. Watch this. This will be fun.
Great look at that grip, Jane, on that putter of Will's. Not the smoothest of strokes we noted yesterday, but just...
Yeah, still, as Dennis said, he was allowing about 9 feet of break and needed another foot or 2 of that.
Needed 10.
Well, he could have almost made it, but I think it still would have run 6 or 8 feet by.
Oh, and that's so disappointing. I mean, you hit a shot and you think, oh my gosh, this is all over the flagstick on a really difficult par 3. And then you walk away with a bogey. That's got to be a head scratcher for sure. Looks like Brant's got some pretty snazzy socks on today, I know.
Notice how he tucks that left sleeve in on his putting, Jane. He wants that arm to stay tight to his body, doesn't he?
He does. It's there's a lot going on in that putting stroke. I'm not really a fan of it.
It's not a long putting stroke. I'm not a fan of it either, but you know, he's got a lot of reasons after last year's success to
oh my gosh,
stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his record last year was tremendous. Second at the Masters. It was tied for 6th in the 20 US Open at the end of last year. Tied for 8th at the PGA Championship. I mean, it's progression.
Here's a look from the 16th fairway. Matt Kuchar's second shot.
A reachable par 5. He needs to turn it in from right to left, but let it drift off to the right. Yeah. Come up in the right-hand bunker. Shouldn't be too much trouble, though, Joe.
No, I think you're right. I think these players know. Here's a look at Matsuyama from just in the right rough, choking down on this fairway metal.
Trying to chase it up there in these firm fairways. And he's let it drift out to the right as well.
Ooh, he needs a hard bounce into the center of that bunker. He's going to have his hands full.
Well, he's an adept bunker player, but he's going to need all his talent there. Now, not a very good pictures right in front of Hudson Swafford here. He's like, okay, I don't want to go over there.
One of the things we are noticing that though Hudson's playing a lot more shots from the fairway today. He looks a little more in control of his game, and it's a nice second shot here.
Just settle. Starts to slope away at the back left there as it trundles off the back edge, but that's going to be an eagle effort upcoming for Hudson Swafford.
Of everything about his golf swing, not a huge fan of the putting stroke, as you guys both mentioned. It's you know what the best putting stroke is though, is the one that repeats. It doesn't matter if you cut across, if you hook it, if you do it the same every time, the ball will learn to react that way. And whether you hit down on it, up on it, doesn't matter. That's starting out to the right. It needs to turn over. That's going to hit the pine tree. Maybe he'll get a kick. I don't see it down. It just came straight down up underneath the tree, so that'll be a layup most likely. The ones that we've seen, Jane, have not been very good. So we need to hit one in the fairway for him. And that is down the left side, but now this is turning over. The guy who's cutting it, that's going to have to hang in a little bit. First player that hit was actually Brandt Snedeker, and his is up the right-hand side. I believe it caught the fairway. If not, it's not worse than the first cut. So he's in a good spot on the right-hand side.
That will be just fine.
Here's a look out of this bunker. Matt Kuchar's second shot finished just on this upslope, Jane. This should be no trouble at all for him.
No, I expect this one within 3 feet. And
Yeah,
he hasn't
well done.
disappointed.
Yeah, you like it when they oblige every once in a while with our calls. Very, very well done from Matt Kuchar.
Yeah, it was nicely on the upslope, wasn't it? And this young man, boy, he has a good short game as well, and terrific sand player. Just thumps the sand, really starts to generate a little. Might have caught a little too much sand there, perhaps, Jay, but still, it's got a good attempt for a birdie upcoming for Hideki.
You know, and it's good to note as we watch these guys play from that right-hand bunker, it looks like kind of the place that these guys are going to want to miss. The sand is most of tour players' best friends. I don't know how you felt about it. I'm sure you were a great sand player. Most of you Aussies are, but boy, these guys, it's almost like stealing out of the bunkers.
Well, it really is as beautifully manicured as they are. Nice new sand, and if you can get down the base of the bunker, you're in good shape. I need a little more weedies there, Hudson. Hate to leave eagle attempt short, but he'll take a birdie.
All right, so we're going to stick here and watch this, our current Masters champion, try to negotiate this putt for birdie.
That'll be probably at least 10 or 11 feet. We'll wait for, see what shot length gives us. But should move just a tad from right to left for Hideki. Here's a good look at the double bend neck on that putter that he's using this week. Usually uses a Scotty Cameron that has a plumber's neck, kind of like Tiger would always use. Break. Yes.
Oh, that was very well judged. That ball had a little more movement.
Achilles heel really all through his career on the PGA Tour. people would say, if only he could putt. Well, as many times as you hit the green and hit it close, you're not going to make everything. But he needs more consistency. He needs to be able to make putts like that more often. There was for a while a time where, you know, if he was within 4 or 5 feet, it was like iffy. He's got to be able to make all of those. What was it, Snedeker, 100% from 3 feet. You know, Hideki would be a little iffy on those.
I'm watching Hudson try to negotiate this for birdie as Matt Kuchar tapped a short one in. So the entire group birdies the 16th, and probably similar to yesterday, this hole played the easiest golf course, hole, excuse me, easy for me to say, easiest hole on the golf course.
Brant hitting that out to the right, trying to turn it over and get it up by the front of the green. He was well back, and I'm not sure if that turned over enough to get into the fairway from my vantage point.
No, it's actually not in a bad spot, is it, Jay?
No, it's just wonderful. It's just right in the front of the green, probably 20, 30 yards from.
Perfect lie here in the rough. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. It's almost where like shot length stands all day long. It's dried out, and he can do anything he wants with it. But that's hanging out a little bit to the right by that oak tree that he hit yesterday.
Gets a bit of a bounce, not quite back into the fairway, but...
Bit on that earlier today.
We did.
Trying to hit a tight little draw, and he has drawn it. Is it going to get right left of the bunker?
I think it's in the bunker.
Look, our first look this morning at the 17th tee here.
Fun little par 4, little dog leg up the hill. Not that long, don't need a driver. Got to hit it in the fairway.
We saw this hole give lots of fits to the players in the afternoon, Jane. It's similar to the 8th on the front 9. Short, almost benign hole, but boy, it's got some teeth if you're not careful.
Well, Cooch is going for the heavy metal here. Let's aim it at that big redwood center right. Obviously feeling confident. Drives it all the way to the upslope. That's in good shape.
He's had a good front 9 this morning and not finished. 17 and 18, more birdie opportunities.
Front hole location today too, so probably felt like he wanted to push it up there, get as short a club as possible.
When I watch him swing, it's besides beautiful, he uses so much of his body, doesn't he, Jane? He turns so aggressively with that lower half through.
Just a little bit twitchy occasionally. If he can keep doing the same things, all well and good, but does he change it when he's under pressure? That's what we have to see. Now his third shot, just from 77 yards, Dennis.
Yeah, and that oak tree that he hit yesterday, he's behind it. He's got to go up over the top. It's not a super big deal, but he's definitely going to have to elevate it more than he likes.
Yeah, we get a good view of it from the back of the green. Couldn't really tell as he was lining up because we didn't have a wide enough shot, but couldn't really go right at it.
Nearly impossible to keep that ball right of the flagstick.
Yeah, I think you've got to be a little bit disappointed with the second shot. I think you want to be down the left-hand side of this fairway after punching out from the right-hand rough.
Jane, I'm not sure cutting the ball is his forte, and that shot required a cut that kind of got away from him. But here's Brant. This is a green light special for a guy that knows how to work the wedge like he does, Dennis.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those where I think he might even hit like a chip hook and not try to hit a slammer. No, he went down at it pretty good, and see if he can get it to grab.
Man, I thought that was perfect.
Yeah. Just released on him a little more than he expected, Dennis.
It's all uphill until it isn't. That's what happens in the back of a lot of these greens.
Now Leishman from the
is gonna
front
get this one
bunker.
close. Yeah, he's going to get this one close. He's such a good bunker player. He's hitting that little cut spin that, you know, goes up against the slope a little bit.
Love it.
Just perfectly hole high. Those good bunker players hit so.
It's at home to watch from behind to see where he played that and, you know, how he set up his body. Now Hudson Swafford from just the first cut. And this hole today is just located 6 on and 4 off the right, just over the edge of that bunker.
You know, Jane, I love this viewpoint because it gives the folks at home a much better look at how uphill that is and how difficult it is to hit it the right distance when you're not in the fairway.
That bunker.
Now back to 16 and Will's putt for birdie.
Putt looks really straight, but it's got to go right to left. Man, it just didn't go much at all.
Now here's Hideki from the fairway.
Got to make sure you carry it on at least 2 or 3 steps to get over that downslope.
It's about an additional 4 yards uphill from this position here. Boy, that's not a good sign when you see a tour player take his hand off his.
But it's Hideki. I mean, that means it's not within 3 feet. It's like.
All right, here's a look for Brandt Snedeker for birdie at 16.
Give it a hit. It's back uphill.
Just a whisker too much pace, Dennis, is all. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, looked pretty good to me.
I'm going to go with the over.
And now Cooch.
Oh, he pushed it well up the fairway just to try and get a sand wedge and was rewarded.
So much of that we talked about, and I don't want to.
It's coming in from about, I'd say, 8 or 9 inches to the left of where Wills was coming from, and Wills was trying to break. This should be just right at dead center and firm.
There you go. Nice sandy birdie for Mark Leishman. Grew up down in Warrnambool, Victoria, just south and west of Melbourne. Played a lot of his golf in the sandbelt courses, and we documented that yesterday, how good they are, how difficult the bunkering, and if you can play bunker shots there, you can play bunker shots pretty much anywhere.
It's a little short poppy stroke of WillZalatoris. It's keeping him at 4 under par for the championship. As he'll move over to the 17th tee.